Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Welcome to team meeting number 44. In this team meeting, even my telephone tells me about it. In this team meeting, we're going to be discussing Pando appearance, course building for Oplerno faculty, some questions from the faculty, certificates, and some new courses. Dan, maybe you want to tell us about the new courses? Dan?
Yep. Okay. Let me pull up the meeting here. What do we have? So Paul Crowley's new course, Power Speaking, is up and available. Paul's got some really quality videos going on. He's got a ton of content. This is a really good value for the cost. Paul was one of our earliest faculty members. He's been giving feedback going on a year and a half, almost 2 years at this point, helping us keep our ship sailing, and this course definitely reflects his engagement and abilities and drive. So check that out. It's taking public speaking sort of up a notch. It's not just learning the mechanics of public speaking, but how to make any speech you might give sort of land a little better and a little more effectively. So if any of you out there are looking for speaking credits, it is of course 3 credits, and I'm not sure if Paul set a start date, but that's all available on enroll.oplerno.com.
And as usual, I'll put the link in the notes below.
I think that was the only one from last week that I got to publish.
Why don't I talk a little bit about the Pando appearance and some of the other stuff that's been going on. So there's a great online magazine / website / blog called Pando Daily. It covers the Silicon Valley scene. The founder has been doing some really great work in terms of holding companies accountable for their transparency, their policies, and making sure they're doing what they say they're doing. And one of the really interesting pieces the Pando Daily does is on Uber, and they've been digging into sort of the Uber controversy in terms of security, abuse of customer data, and they came up with a really interesting sort of free conference. And what they had is a 24-hour broadcast where anybody could come and participate, both speak and enter into a discussion. Their physical location was in San Francisco, but I applied and got a slot to get interviewed about Oplerno, and that happened yesterday at 7 a.m. Once we get the video, we'll post it. It was a pretty interesting discussion about higher education and all the problems that you guys are familiar with in terms of low faculty salaries, high student costs, and we talked about all kinds of different things about faculty owning the IP, issues that we're having in terms of student recruitment, and also the issue of accreditation and how accreditation kind of forms a barrier. It's a good barrier, but it forms a barrier that makes innovation and introducing new companies and new ways of teaching difficult, because to operate, you really should be approved or accredited by your state, a national organization, and a regional authority. Problem is that to be approved, you need a certain amount of, to be accredited, you need a certain amount of content and students. And the outlays to create that are, the monetary outlays are enormous, sometimes in the millions of dollars, especially if you're setting up a physical facility. And we here at Oplerno have done it for a whole lot less. We're moving quickly, but the barriers, the regulatory barriers that are in front of us, make it tricky. So it was fun to talk about that, and it was sort of the first time I've ever done an interview outside of these team meetings, and I behaved myself, which was good, and it was a lot of fun. Anybody else have anything they want to say about if they saw the Pando or what went on? I mean, it was a little tricky. I felt bad for the Pando staff because again they had been up all night already, and it was 7 in, and they still had another 5 hours. So I didn't get a chance to get interviewed by Sarah or Paul, but but by one of their reporters, and that was great. He did a really, really good job.
I think it was, if I remember correctly, it was David Holmes or Nathaniel Mott. I was listening to it on my phone. I thought it was really, really good. I was really excited that you got a lot of space to speak, and they asked really good questions. They gave some really, really nice feedback. And I also liked that they had, of course, a live audience who'd also stayed up for lots of this, lots of the night, and they got to ask some questions as well, such as about the accreditation, which I was really excited about.
I like the fact that they were asking hard questions and it wasn't just throwing softballs to make it a infomercial, and that's really, really important. And the other sessions that they had were really, really good on all kinds of subjects from psychology and startups. They had a really great session with another social network that was doing work in dating, and just all the issues of recruitment of both people, recruiting people, especially women, to work in Silicon Valley in the high-tech fields. There's also an interesting piece on Atlanta that they had. So it was all, it was good. It's about getting the word out, and it's going to be fun to, do more of them. Hopefully I sunk a couple of hooks into them to write a story on us for later on, which is good. Let's go to questions from faculty. There actually are a couple of questions that I got. Just going back to the Pando Daily. Sorry, the Don't Be Awful conference. I had more. I had a lot of fun at the conference at doing the interview, but I had a ton of fun on the Twitter feed talking with a woman from Pakistan who works in education, and we were tweeting back and forth. And so if hopefully we can get in contact with them, that would be great. They this woman, Ms. Khan, she runs a an orphanage for street children in Pakistan. I'm not sure where it's whether it's in Lahore or Karachi, that would be great to connect with them, especially some of the faculty. Now that's probably a little bit of a younger crowd, but of course, Pakistan is a country where people want to get an education, and we could maybe help with that, especially since Canvas supports all kinds of different languages. So that would be great to hook up with her. Okay, questions. I've had a bunch of different questions about specific issues at Canvas. A couple of the questions that have come up in the last couple of days is people are shooting in things on, hey, are you guys looking for English studies? This is one from Christina Kennison. Are you looking for people to do, English studies, literature, and or writing online faculty? And the answer is, of course, yes, we are. There's all kinds of content we're looking to, and we need to develop. And so, of course, we're looking for that type of those types of classes. If you review there's a controversy in the States right now regarding adjunct pay at Arizona State University, where the president has decided to add an extra section to faculty work. This is even adjunct faculty work, and not pay them for that any extra money for that. And of course, that's causing all kinds of consternation, as it should. And if you're at Arizona State and you're teaching writing, we'd love to have, teach with us too. Hopefully, you can fit that in, but develop that classes. We really value adjuncts. They're incredibly important. There's another question from an individual saying, I'm trying to get some courses started in Ghana and was wondering if I can set the course cost to 0 for initial courses to get a local following and then start charging later. So is there any minimal amount that we need to charge? That's a really tricky question. It depends on your market. Please remember that your courses that are available online in the marketplace are available to anyone on the planet. So if they're really high quality classes, then you should offer them at a rate that is consistent with sort of that global piece. We're kind of saying $500 for a class is important, is a good rate. However, we also recognize that there are people all over the world who don't have $500 to spend on a course and who are not making that kind of money. And so the deal with an Oplerno class is that we will, if a faculty member wants to discount the tuition 80% or 90%, we will discount that tuition the same amount in terms of that $100 or 10% that we earn. The only thing that the student is going to have to pay for is the access to Canvas and the access to our technology, which for the total cost of the year is somewhere between $20 and $25. Now, if someone we do have licenses that are available that people can use until we hit a critical mass, but we can help and match if a faculty member wants to discount their tuition on their end. We can match that in terms of percentage, but we want to make sure that we're meeting our business costs and our infrastructure costs. So, at between $20 and $25, that's pretty low, but that, we can't really go any further than that. So we can't just make it free for people and 100% free. There is going to have to be a small fee. And remember, when you're paying that small fee, that means that we're not going to be, well, we don't do this anyway. We don't sell student data. We're not making our money by charging, faculty extra fees. It's a strict, percentage agreement, and respecting student privacy and student data. And all of that costs a little bit of money, and that's why we're charging that $25 for the infrastructure costs. As we gain more students to sign up for Canvas, our infrastructure costs will go down, and we'll be able to calculate that, and so then we can lower that fee. But for right now, it's between $20 and $25 per student. Okay. Go to another question.
I have something to add there as well.
Okay.
Because we don't have any regional limitations. So basically, if you offer it in Ghana, it's offered all over the planet. There are some possibilities, and if you have any questions or you want to specifically target a region, say you have the $25 is acceptable rate, that you don't get or you get a very small cut. You can contact me directly or contact us on info@Oplerno or faculty at Oplerno, and send us an email. We could also set up a small pilot program with you if you have a specific regional need. So if you're in a developing country or in a country which doesn't have a language barrier. So if you're in a country that only has Portuguese, of course, you wouldn't have as many Western European students signing up as if you had a course which is in English. So we can, but if you have a regional requirement, then we can pilot it with you, and I'll be glad to help you set that up. So if you contact me, then we can see what's possible and see exactly what's possible for you and your students, of course.
Remember that at Oplerno and our Canvas instructor, our LMS, our learning management system, supports all kinds of different languages. So you don't have to offer, again, like Daniel said, you don't have to offer the course in English. You can offer the course in Chinese, Portuguese, Spanish, French, German, and the list goes on and on, Arabic. And we can then figure out a way to create some kind of, website that's, like Daniel said, targeted to your local market. All right. Let's go to one more question, and that is, there's one or two questions that come up periodically about where to, a faculty member will send in a question saying, I'm interested in teaching with you all, and then they say, here's my subject that I'm teaching. Please, where do I send my resume and sign up? And you can always sign up for a class at faculty@oplerno.com/faculty. That is the website. You go on the website and it says faculty, click on that, and you'll see where there's a little form to fill out and download the contract. And once you sign the contract, we've downloaded the form. We create a space and canvas for you to work in for your class. We, of course, just before that, we go over your course proposal, and you can work and create your class until you want to submit it, and then you submit it and we review it, and then it goes up on Marketplace after we do a background check. All right? So really simple ways in which to sign up for classes.
I just got a question which was forwarded to me by Professor Sadler from a student who's looking to enroll in what's the course called again? The Existential Philosophy and Literature, which I think is starting. Was it starting? Either it's starting this week or it's another course by Professor Sadler. But this student is currently in the United States, and he'll be going to Europe, and he's wondering whether it's possible to take the course from multiple locations. So from whether that's going from the United States to go to Europe or going to Asia is of course possible. We're an online institution, so if you want to, wherever you are on the planet, you can, within the limits, of course, of what the state you are in allows, you'll be able to take the course. And if you have any issues with any states where there might be some limitations, please contact us at students@oplerno.com, and we can help you sort that out and make sure that you're able to access your course material from anywhere on the planet. So.
Yeah, I've been using my smartphone to access the course I'm teaching, and it works great. You can access the discussions, you can participate in them. Of course, you're on your smartphone, so it's thumb speed for entering data. But yeah, anywhere on the planet with a cell phone connection, and if you've got a smartphone, you can access your course. So it doesn't matter where you are on the planet. We are accessible to everybody, as long as you got a smartphone. Okay. Let's talk we'll touch base a little bit about the certificates. And check out the certificate page. Dan, why don't you, I've been yakking too much. Why don't you tell us a little bit about the certificate page so we can just review that quickly with people.
Okay. Our certificate page is available from our homepage. Just like we mentioned the past couple of weeks, just click on Oplerno.com and go to navigate to the certificates part. There are currently a handful of certificates available. Of course, we're always open to more proposals and ideas, and that's all available to all faculty via the Canvas course that all faculty are signed up for as an orientation when you sign your contract and get an account. Students can take the certificates in any order. They can take all the certificates and then retroactively be granted all the courses, and then retroactively get the certificate if they've completed all the courses. We also will accept one transfer course from either an accredited Institute of Higher Learning or from a MOOC with an identity verified exam and passage of a C grade or above.
I did get a question from, I had a meeting with a faculty member this week who was bringing up an issue in terms of, well, who's controlling the certificates, okay, who gets to decide what courses are in them. right now, the people that get to decide the courses that can go into a certificate is a combination of us and the faculty, okay, Oplerno and the faculty. So in other words, a faculty member might submit and say, hey, here's my class, I'd like it to go into a certificate. If it makes sense to go into that certificate and it's of a particular, quality, then sure, we'll list that as one of the courses that can stand for, can take credit for that certificate. If a couple of faculty members get together and they want to create a specific certificate and say, this is our certificate, this is what we think it is, and list it, and then have a system where they're kind of controlling it, what classes go in. We're going to work on that. That can potentially right now be a logistical nightmare for us, and so we want to make sure that when we add that level of if there's going to be that level of control, that we've completely thought it through. The fact is that we have designed this so faculty can control as much as possible, and we're the backstop on quality. So we make sure the quality of the classes is set. So there's nothing that precludes faculty members from completely controlling that certificate. But there are going to be some, we are going to assert ourselves as part of, being the governing structure of this new institution. But, we're going to be giving faculty all the possible control that they would like and can have in terms of, being in charge of the academic life of the institution and controlling their programs, their certificates, and eventually their degrees. Okay. So I want to for the last bit, I want to say course building for Oplerno faculty is underway. So that's a 6-week class that you all can take. It's been interesting, the feedback that we've gotten. Let me tell you a little bit about it. 6 weeks from conception to a course listed on the marketplace. We're using this as the first run to check on how we're doing student support and faculty, and helping out with faculty development. Canvas works really well. There's some pedagogical things that I, want to see improve, not with Canvas, but with sort of, my own teaching, in terms of onboarding of students. How do we get the students to start posting and interacting right off the bat? And also a little bit about class size. I think that, probably a class under 5, while it can be done, the interactions that occur in a class size between 5 and 15, it makes it much easier to develop a particular community. But, so these are particular issues that crop up, and when the class is over, I think what might be an interesting idea is just to have an open meeting where those faculty can talk about the particular things in the course development piece and what sort of works well and what doesn't work well in terms of online teaching. It's really, really great, but it's very, very different than it's really, really great. It is different than teaching in a classroom. In some ways it's easier because, again, you can do things asynchronously, but it does represent a cultural shift for faculty in terms of what they have to do to engage students. So that's been fun. If you still want to add into the class, I've offered that for a couple of people who've requested interest. Shoot an email to skiff@oplerno.com and we'll set you up. Right now there are 6 people in the course and we're having fun. And I've got a bunch of assignments that I have to correct and grade, and then move all those assignments over to the discussion groups, and then generate that, which I'm looking forward to. In fact, I think what I'm going to do is when I'm designing or teaching, sometimes the communities or the groups of students that you work with, you need to change the way you're teaching based on the community that is in there, the groups of students. So I think what I'm going to actually do is, instead of having the assignments go directly to me, I'm going to have those be posted in the discussion tabs first, so that people can do a whole lot more comment and interaction. After all, the 6 people that are taking the class are experts in teaching too, and people don't need to just get my feedback. So please sign up. It's great. You can sign it up at enroll@oplerno.com and look for course development for Oplerno faculty.
And of course, I'm going to put the link in the notes below as well.
The link will be in the note. So, Michael, do you have anything you want to kind of tell us about in terms of like last week, in terms of going over the, the finance piece, in terms of stuff that you've been setting up and things like that?
Yeah, just been taking care of 2014 year-end financial records and making sure that Oplerno continues to be a clean and transparent operation that are committed to our core values of transparency. So, just like any other business, we're making sure that we send out 1099s to our vendors and necessary year-end filings to the necessary tax organizations where we're required to file. So, taking care of all that, and that's looking good and clean.
Yeah, and that'll be really, really important as we're starting to talk with other organizations about collaborations and some potentially really cool partnerships. We want to be able to, be completely transparent with our finances, so much so it hurts. Dan Kirk, anything you want to add?
I'm good.
Okay. Dan was. I'm sitting with my family at an outdoor film, thing that occurs in Burlington called the Banff Film Festival, and my wife goes, "Look, there's Dan Kirk's name in the credits of this really cool, this really cool backcountry ski movie." Tell us a little bit about that, Dan.
All right. This guy named Vasu, he's an alum of UVM, and my friend Tyler Wilkinson Ray shot a film. Vasu skis on a mono ski. He has one leg, and he still hikes in the backcountry and shreds real hard. So they set out, made a film about him. It's been getting a lot of attention, got him to a lot of festivals, and yeah, it's really, really rad. So it's called Out on a Limb. You can view it on YouTube or Vimeo. If you just Google Out on a Limb, Vasu, his name's Vasu, you should come up with it. It's about 7 minutes short, and it's pretty inspiring, and a lot of good footage from all over the country and the world of Vasu skiing.
Yeah, he is an amazing skier, and I couldn't believe him, skinning up these steep hills on one leg on a system that he rigged himself. That man has a ton of courage. So I don't have anything else to add unless you guys do, and so we'll close out the open part of the meeting.
I have something to add.
Okay.
Firstly, the 1st of February for Professor Sadler's course, I just looked it up to make sure. I've posted Out of a Limb, the link, in the show notes below. And that's it from me. Thank you very much.
All right. Well, listen, take care, and we'll see you online next week.